What's up, guys? I'm here with another video for you. And today, I have a creepypasta story, so sit back and enjoy. Well, it's not really a job, but more like a title given to people who take on special requests from guests at Japanese inns. Now, these requests can be simple things like making sure everything is clean or helping them prepare for an early morning flight. But sometimes, these requests can be much more bizarre. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of the job called Johatsu? In fact, I used to work as a Johatsu, and some of the things that I was asked to do were downright terrifying. Now, before we get started, I want to point out that this story is based on a true story. He had just started working at a traditional Japanese inn that was famous for its stunning views of the surrounding mountains. The next morning after the couple had checked out, he decided to investigate. From that day on, he made sure to keep a close eye on all of his guests, always on the lookout for any signs of danger. One rainy afternoon, he was tending to the garden when a lone traveler checked in. She was a young woman who looked like she had just come from a long journey. My friend welcomed her warmly and led her to her room. But that wasn't the most disturbing thing. As he approached her, he noticed that she had no face. They investigated the room and found no signs of a struggle or forced entry. It was a busy summer night and the inn was filled with guests. My friend was rushing to finish cleaning a room when he heard a knock on the door. He opened it to find a young man standing there with a strange request. It was clear that she had been alone in the room when she died, but how and why was still a mystery. At first, my friend thought it was a joke. My friend stood there torn between his desire to help and his fear of getting involved in something dangerous. My friend couldn't help but wonder if he had made the right call. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Creepypasta Storytime. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. Also, if you have a creepypasta that you want me to read, then please send it to the email below. Thanks for listening and I'll see you next time. Had he just put himself in danger by helping a stranger? In the end, the man survived the incident and was later arrested for trying to fake his own death. My friend learned a valuable lesson that day, one that he would never forget. Sometimes it's best to trust your gut instincts and not get involved in situations that seem too risky. The man's eyes were pleading, and he seemed desperate. My friend knew that refusing would only cause problems, so he reluctantly agreed. But when he saw the seriousness in the man's eyes, he knew it was no laughing matter. He politely refused, explaining that he didn't want to be involved in anything like that. My friend was traumatized by the experience and never forgot the horrifying sight of the faceless woman. Her entire facial structure was gone, leaving only a gaping hole where her mouth should be. But as he watched the man stumble around the room, clutching his chest and gasping for air, he couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Was this really just an act? Could the man actually be injured? My friend found himself frozen in place, unsure of what to do. My friend screamed in terror and ran for the hills. "Quick," he whispered. "I think I really hurt myself." My friend's heart skipped a beat as he realized the gravity of the situation. He had no idea whether the man was joking or not, but he knew he had to act fast. He went to the couple's room and found a small box hidden under the table. Curiosity got the better of him, and he opened it to find a pair of scissors and a rope. He knocked on her door several times, but each time she didn't answer. Concerned for her safety, he finally decided to call the police and break down the door. The man's chest was covered in blood, and he could see the outline of a knife sticking out from his back. My friend screamed in terror and ran for help. She didn't say much, but there was something about her demeanor that made him uneasy. He tried to shake off the feeling and focus on making her stay as comfortable as possible. But as the hours passed, he couldn't help but worry about her well-being. His blood ran cold as he realized the sinister implications of what he had found. Had the couple planned to hurt themselves? Why would they celebrate their anniversary by doing so? My friend was horrified and shaken to his core. He never imagined that a seemingly normal guest could be hiding such darkness within. It was an isolated spot, perfect for a peaceful getaway from the hustle and bustle of city life. But little did he know that this tranquility came at a price. It comes from a friend of mine who actually worked as a Johatsu in Japan. They were celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary and wanted to spend some quality time together. As a Johatsu, my friend took care of their every need during their stay. He made sure their room was clean and comfortable, and even went out of his way to surprise them with a bottle of wine and a bouquet of flowers. Names and identifying details have been changed to protect their privacy. With that said, let's begin. This is the first most terrifying request that he was ever asked to do. One evening, a middle-aged couple checked into the inn, but as the night wore on, he began to notice some strange behavior from the husband. He would stare off into space with a blank expression on his face, and occasionally mumble to himself. My friend tried to ignore it, assuming that it was just part of their anniversary celebration. But when he overheard the man talking to himself, he couldn't help but listen in. The man was saying things that made his blood run cold. "It's time," he muttered. "We have to do it tonight." My friend's heart raced as he tried to make sense of the conversation. What did he mean by we? What were they planning to do? He shook his head, dismissing the thought. It was none of his business what the guests did in their private moments. However, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, and he never forgot about the eerie good morning message that they left behind. Now, let's move on to the second most terrifying request that he was ever asked to do. As he showed her around, he noticed that she seemed distant and withdrawn. He brought her meals and made sure she had everything she needed, but she just sat in silence, staring out the window. To his horror, he found her standing in the corner of the room, eyes wide and vacant, completely naked. The police arrived soon after and found the woman's body on the floor. And now let us move on to the third and final most terrifying request that he was ever asked to do. He asked my friend to take a picture of him, while he pretended to commit suicide in the room. But the man insisted, offering him money if he would just go along with it. He took the camera and snapped a few pictures of the man pretending to stab himself in the chest. The man suddenly stopped and turned to him, eyes wide and filled with panic. He rushed to the man's side and tried to stop the bleeding. But as he looked down, his blood ran cold. When the police and paramedics arrived, the man was rushed to the hospital. Well, that's all for today's story.